Some time ago, Dr. Gravely and Life Data approached me on giving something back to the Farrier industry. And their idea was to sponsor some Farrier safety clinics that could possibly keep us all sounder, safer, and maybe even work longer by learning to deal with the ways that we can get hurt on a day-to-day basis with the work we do. The Gravleys also mentioned that they knew a gentleman named Rick Wheat who was a professional horseman and a professional trainer, and that he had invented a device called a novel head stall that really worked well on a lot of behavioral problems, especially the ones that we deal with on a day-to-day basis shoeing horses. That statement really got my attention because we all deal with unruly horses occasionally, and some of us more than others. I heard Rick say at a clinic one time that if you don't correct a horse within 3 seconds of a problem, they probably don't know what they're being punished for, and that made a lot of sense. Twitches are effective on some horses, although they're by no means foolproof. The attention span on some horses is short. The bottom line to me is a horse really doesn't learn anything from a twitch. Even though you can get the job done, it's not meaning much for the next time, and that's important to me. Drugs are effective. Here again, they're very expensive. It's hard to coordinate our time with the vet and vice versa. And again, a horse really doesn't learn anything from the drugs. They just kind of wake up trimmed or shod, and they don't learn anything for the next time. With the novel, the effects are immediate. A horse learns exactly what they shouldn't do at the time they do it, within that 3 seconds, I guess. And I guess the bottom line is horses learn from the novel. When I was asked to give my thoughts on this, I didn't hesitate. It's made a great difference in our work. We're now shoeing some horses that I used to dread. It's a pleasure, and I might add safely. As far as I'm concerned, it's one of the greatest tools in my truck, and I just would recommend it for anybody. It's a super safety thing. It does teach horses behavior. I know it's in the commercial, but I'd like to really thank Dr. Gravely and Life Data for introducing me to Rick and the novel head stop. It's really made a difference to me. Thanks a lot.
Everything's fine. That is his relief point. What that actually means is that whenever you actually halter break this horse, that he'll stay with you. I mean, he'll lead no matter what. You know, we haven't chased this colt around very much at all. You know, he's not sweating or anything. He's just kind of a sully type horse. Again, he's a Hancock horse. And he's a quarter horse, but he's a Hancock bred horse, which they make great, great horses. But they're just a little bit tougher to do than some of the other different bloodlines, but they sure make good horses when you get through with them. And so what we're trying to do here is just get this colt coming out of the mud and coming to us. You know, the first thing he thinks about is he's kind of stuck there. He don't want to come out of the mud. But we have to insist that he does, because later on, you know, the owners is going to want this horse to ride wherever they want him to ride. Now, if we let him go around this mud and say, hey, you know, you don't have to go through it at this particular point, later on you've got a habit you've got to break. And so we don't want that. Everything we do at this particular point, we want him to understand where it's going to. And he is. And if you notice when I pull on him now, it's not really a tug of war. He just gives up to me and decides to come on. And when he comes up to me, that's when I pat and rub him. Now, what I'm doing here is I'm actually going back to that head, and I'm asking him to give it down. You notice how he's got his left hind foot kind of cocked up there. He's relaxing. He's trying to relax. Now he's giving me his head down. When he does, I pat him, I rub him, and I let him know, hey, this is a good thing. You know, we're doing good here. Now, I think this colt, like I said, because he had a halter on, I think he had actually been tied up at one time. And, you know, just for a short period, because the halter had been on him for quite some time. And here what we did, we actually just got him to step through the rope, just through a loop in the rope. Now what I'm doing with this, I'm actually getting it to where I can pick his foot up and hold it, because I have to be able to hold his foot up. And if I can't hold his foot up and he takes it away from me, I'm teaching him a bad habit. And so what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to pick it up and kind of wrap it over his back just a little bit and show him that he has to stand on 3 legs. Now, as he's doing this, he's also bumping himself for that novel. And when he stands still, and once he gives up, that's when I give him his foot back. And only for just a second or two, if he'll give up, I give him his foot back. Okay, now then, once he's give this up, if you notice now, he's willing to give me his foot a little easier. He's willing to stand there, take it pretty easy, and give me his foot. Okay, this is what we want to do. This is how you teach a horse to actually stand here and be still while you're shoeing him, trimming him, whatever. This is the point that it starts. Now, if we let this horse get completely away from us, it's going to be a bad start, and we've got to go back and do something else. But as you see, he was actually giving me his foot, and that's what we want. That's how we want it. We want him to be calm. We want him to be quiet. We want him to learn that whenever you pick up my foot, I'm supposed to stand there. Now, here you see some Farrier students coming in, and these kids and young adults is just going through a Farrier school. Great profession, I believe. And a lot of young ladies are getting into it now, and we're proud to see that. As you see, this young lady has no problems. You know, she don't think she's going to get kicked or anything else. And this is good, but I wish, you know, we could have more of a respect maybe for a horse, because we don't want to get anyone hurt. Now, if you notice, I've got the rope laying on the ground, and I'm working behind his left ear. Now, all I'm doing is showing him that he's not supposed to move. We've already shown him that. Now, we're showing him now, don't move. You know, we don't want you to move. And if he moves a foot a little bit, I'm going to rub that nerve just a bit, and I'm going to get a hold of the novel. And so we've got a means now to show him that he don't move. Now, here you see he's trying to pull his foot away from this young man, and all I'm doing is I'm rubbing that nerve, and every time he jerks that foot a little bit, I bump him with the novel. And you see his head go down? Okay, when his head goes down, that's when I give him just a little bit of a correction. Now, you can do this by yourself. You can have this stuffed in your belt, and by golly, you can get to them the same way. But, you know, this coach really come around, and he will learn exactly what we're supposed to do with him. But we taught him with the novel.
Hey guys, I'm Desmond Fox. I'm a full-time horseshoer from down in Georgia. I also do a little instructing. And over the years of working around horses, being around a lot of rank horses, it's been tough to make a living in a lot of cases. So, you know, I guess several years ago, I met Rick Weekt, and he introduced me to the Noble head style, and I've been using it pretty regular. And here lately, it seems to be getting better and better. I've been able to shoe horses that typically couldn't shoe. Been always an option for sedation, but even with the head style, that's something that you don't really have to consider. A few minutes working with a horse, so you know, safety is always a big factor when you're looking at your career, your health on the line. So you always have to consider safety, every horse that you get under. And even with a lot of students, it's something that you're trying to teach them to be safe around horses and to get underneath horses and stay safe. Do a good job, but at the same time, you have to be real conscientious about the type horses that you are working on. And the head style has been just that. It's something that we can use. It's something that's been able to keep us safe. You know, more horses have been hopefully trained better. In the right hands, it does a great thing.